What is going on, guys? This is obviously Jordan here, back in with another video, and I had actually already done most of this video back, when I was in London doing an internship, because it just made sense. It was day 15, like literal day 15, so I thought, you know what, let me do like a midpoint kind of recap. But since then, between then and now, I've done a lot of thinking in the last week, and I think I've got a flipping spider web on me. And now that I've had some time to think about it, I've got like 3 actual learning points, I guess, things that I want to address moving forward with this challenge. Things that maybe you guys might find interesting as well, not just from a challenge perspective, but from a YouTube, creativity, uploading videos perspective, that might make things a bit more interesting. I know a lot of creatives, not just on YouTube, but people that have their own shirt brands, make poems, ECT. People do all the ECT, ETC. I always get that wrong, but people that all do their own like creative things. And this is an interesting, I guess, creative realization that I think would be cool to talk about. So the first thing that I wanted to say, that I kind of always knew this. I have had this, I wrote this whole article about on Medium back in the day when I was like a Medium blogger and stuff. But something that I kind of lost touch with, I kind of forgot about, and I'm trying to rekindle it now, moving forward with the seasons and with different challenges and stuff that I'm doing on this channel. And it's be active. The number one way to have like infinite creative ideas and video ideas, blog ideas, poem ideas, whatever it may be, is to actually go outside and live your life. Like, it's so difficult to sit here and think, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do today? It's day 16, what am I going to record today? And then you go outside, go for a walk, you might walk across something crazy and you're like, I can talk about that. Or maybe, I don't know, you'll go in the shower and you allow your mind to stray and think about random stuff. And you're like, oh, I can write a blog about that, you know what I mean? And literally being a human being in this real world, actually going outside, actually doing things, actually living your own life, having your own experiences, is the number one, like the most important thing ever when it comes to creativity, period. Because if you're not doing anything, like what are you talking about? You're just talking about random stuff, or you're like using other people's experiences and trying to make them your own, which doesn't really always make sense. It can be done, but it doesn't always make sense to do that. So go out and live. That's something that I learned this over the last 21 days, I think I've been doing the challenge for. And it's like, even while I was out, I say out, while I wasn't uploading, I was doing the internship and stuff like that, doing my own personal things on the side. I was still living my life and doing things that I thought would be cool to record about. But I was doing it from the perspective of, again, like, what am I going to record today? I wasn't really allowing myself to think and to be creative. I was trying to be industrial, like a machine, like a mechanism of like churning out ideas. But fundamentally, again, if you just, the second I let go and said, you know what, I'm just going to chill, I'm just going to enjoy this day out with these people, that's suddenly when we start talking about all this random stuff. And I'm like, you know what, 95% of this stuff could be, built, developed, created, storyboarded into a way that can be put down into a video. And that's kind of where I am now. Like, I'm still, to be fair, I've always had 30 solid ideas written in the hat that when I went home, I must have threw them away because I don't know where they are now. Maybe it's in... Yeah, so it's not in a drawer that I thought it was going to be in. So all the ideas that I wrote down are suddenly gone, but it's fine. Because oh no, I found them. I found my papers. Look at this. They're no longer in a hat, but some written ideas that we're going to pick up at random to decide the next video. But yeah, it's like you kind of always lose touch of that if you're not just living your life. Like, if I pick one at random, selling my car. Okay, I've done that video already. 100 DMs. I haven't done that one yet. 100 DMs. This came from, I'm not going to do it next because I've got to pick it out of the hat. But this idea came from, like, I wanted to talk to more people. I wanted to have more people on the podcast, on the YouTube channel, and do more collaborations. And yeah, it's all good and well to just message my friends, but how can you get people from from more places? And yes, technically it's as simple as just DMing, asking someone to do it. But how can I make that interesting? And I don't know, this 100 DMs, it just sounds like a nice arbitrary number, 100. I can already picture what the title's going to be, what the thumbnail's going to be. And it's just something fun to do. This sheet of paper, oh, okay, Black Lives Matter, I kind of talked about that. I'm not going to say what this one is, but we are going to do it soon. What about this one? Life after uni. You see, life after uni. This is something that I literally thought about. I was talking to my friends and they're all complaining about, housing this, buying a car that, jobs this, job market, investments, savings. I'm like, you know what? I know what I have a rough plan of where I'm going to go after university. Maybe most students don't. That's a video idea right there. So as I was saying, basically, like, living your life, that comes up. That generates infinite ideas. My second key takeaway from this challenge so far is that while it's important, like the reason why I failed the first time I did the 30-day challenge like 2 years ago or something, the reason why I failed that was because I didn't necessarily want to do it. In my head, like I did a 30-day challenge on Medium, I wrote an article every day for 30 days, and it kind of blew up on Medium, had loads of followers, loads of likes per post, which is still maintained today, to be fair. I'm still getting like hundreds of views every week without even posting anything. Medium's just such a, it's a great platform. But I thought, since that worked on one platform, maybe it'll also work on YouTube. The difference is, on Medium I had like an approach. There was an art writer called Tom Kugler, I think. I haven't actually spoken to the guy in a while. But this guy called Tom, I would like put his Medium profile thing here. But he had this like 1 hour a day challenge thing where it's like, look, you spend, I think, 5 minutes, no, I think it was like 15 minutes. Damn it, it was like, you spend some amount of time going and typing in on the search bar, like, so some interesting topic, or just clicking on some topic. And reading like 5 articles from 5 different people. Read them all, give them likes, comment down below so you can build a community. And then you spend like 30 minutes just writing an article. It doesn't have to be something that you thought about beforehand. It doesn't need to be like good. Just spend 30 minutes just writing and see what happens. It could be 2 minutes long, it could be 20 minutes long. It could be a massive book. I mean, you're probably not writing a book in 30 minutes, but it could be interesting, could be not interesting, but just make sure you sit down and do something. And usually the idea is that once you start thinking about it, the first thing that comes to your head is probably the thing you want to talk about the most anyway. Like if you're going through a breakup, maybe the first thing you think about is your ex, but maybe, I don't know, you just want to talk. Why not talk about your ex? Maybe don't like butcher her or him, but find a way to make it like an interesting story. Again, it doesn't have to be interesting, just has to be done. And then you spend some amount of time after that as well, like refining it. So you write it up first. That's like your first draft, or your only draft, to be fair, in 30 minutes. And you spend like another few minutes just going through it, making it medium worthy, and then just quick, post it, call it a day. And then every day, that's like an hour every day. 1 hour do this, 1 hour do that. Even if you have to get up an hour early or go to sleep an hour late, just make sure you do it, and it works. The messaging people part of commenting is kind of the main bit, because that's where you get the followers from. People like read your stuff as well. And I tried that on YouTube. I kind of skipped over the whole like watching random videos and like liking and commenting on them. Hence why it didn't work so well. But it's not feasible, or at least it wasn't for me anyway, to make a video in 30 minutes because I was using animating software, Video Scribe, and even if I could make a video in 30 minutes, I couldn't then render it and then put that, because I didn't have the pro version, so I didn't have a voiceover feature. So I'd have to make the animation, put the animation on Adobe Premiere or whatever video platform I was using back then talk over it, So I had to render it, then export it, then upload it, and all of that took at least 4 hours. Even the rendering itself, if I was making a long video, that would take 4 to 6 hours on its own anyway, which is very difficult. But yeah, I tried to do that on YouTube, it didn't work very well. At the moment, this is a lot easier to talk to a camera. But it's like the whole ideation phase, again, as I said, balancing the internship, doing all these other things, it's very, very difficult. And even though I could feasibly have uploaded more videos during the Euros, it's more important to find a balance, I think. Even though, again, this isn't a career to me, this is still just a hobby at this point, I'm not getting any money from it. So how much time are you really willing to put into it? And how active are you being about your actual, active income, active education versus this, which would be like a more passive, I guess, if you're going to compare it. And it literally just came down to, I want to hang out. I want to do this internship well. I want to go to sleep early. This challenge, as cool as it is, as fun as it is, it's going to have to take a back seat for the time being. Not just because of England, but also because of the other things that are going on. So yeah, second key takeaway is that while it's important, to focus on what you're doing, to deliver a high quality product, put in the time and effort that you said you're going to put in. And I guess the main thing is like being a good boss. Like I'm working for myself, so it's like to make sure to actually reward myself for doing good things or punish myself for not doing the right thing. Making sure that I actually do things efficiently. While that's important to like work hard, it's also important to understand what you're getting out of it. How actually important is this priority? Is this something that you're putting pressure on yourself to do? Is this actual pressure? Is this actually important? Or can you afford to like jam and chill and focus on other things? And once you kind of realize how significant very few things are in your life, it becomes easy to let go. Not for the sake of like giving up. Like I know that I can do it, but it's like making the right choice at the right time for you, and always making sure that you're in control of your own life. That's something that's very, very important. And that's something that very much sways my idea of success. Like a successful life for me is where I have full control over my time every day. If you're working 9 to 5 at a job, you don't have control over the time. You have to be there at work. And that's not, I mean, I guess it is still relatively successful if you're making a lot of money and you can do things outside of that time. But the idea is to have like full autonomy, full control of all the hours of the day. That's my version of success. And that's kind of not necessarily where I am now, because I'm still at uni, I still had a job. I still have to make certain sacrifices before I can get to that point. But it's something that's stuck with me, and it's always been an idea, but it's something that's especially like significant now that I'm planning to take forward more and more throughout the progression of this YouTube channel. The final key takeaway, and this is a bit more of a personal one to me, I guess, and there are several conclusions I can draw from this point, but the final point is that my videos are garbage. Either they're garbage or my editing is just phenomenal, because at first I thought, you know, it's going to be pretty difficult to do a video every day for 30 days along with this internship, you know, I haven't got much time to edit, you know, come up with ideas, make it look all good and fancy and all of this. But literally, I start making these videos now like 10 p.m. and I get them out by midnight, like pretty much every day. I mean, sometimes there are some delays if I get distracted, or if videos are a bit longer, like the ones where I'm like recording my screen and having like, reactions and stuff on top of it. They take a bit longer, I guess, because there are more layers to it and it's a bit literally longer videos. But I'm like, I can put a video out from like ideation to release in like 3 hours now. 3 hours max. I can come up with an idea, put the camera on, record it, upload it, literally from ideation to the first view. I can do it within like 3 hours. And while that's impressive, while like I'm happy that I can, you know, I've got to a point where I can do that very quickly, it makes me think like, imagine if I actually sat down and instead of saying I'm going to do one a day for 30 days, if I said I'm going to do one video a month for 12 months. Like, imagine how good those videos should be, in theory, if you assume that quality and time are directly correlated. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't think, they're not that bad. My videos are pretty decent. I think my editing has improved throughout the course of this like series and just in general as I've been uploading on YouTube for several years. But I should really be doing more. I should really be getting to a point where either I can make better videos, because when I go back to weekly uploads at the end of this challenge, I should really be putting more time. Well, to be fair, I'm going to be doing third year uni stuff, so I'm not going to have, the time commitment will probably stay the same, even though I've got more time to do it between uploads. I'm going to have less time available during the week to actually work on it. So I don't think I'm going to have much more time, but I can at least use the time I have better. Or if I do have more time, I can actually make better videos. So that's something that's more of a personal, like an internal thing that I'm trying to recognize. Like, yeah, it's all good and well that I can do it in a short space of time, but should I be doing it in a short space of time? If I have more time available, should I be using that better to make better videos? Not just for me personally, but even from like a business perspective or from an engagement perspective. There are loads of things that I know I can be doing that I haven't been doing. But now that I know that all of the lies that I told myself before, that, it takes me a whole day to make a video, you know, 12 hours, it's long, I gotta come up with an idea, do this, do that. Like, it literally is as simple as, you know, go outside, look at a tree and say, okay, I'm gonna make a video about a tree today, and then come in and make a video about a tree. Like, it isn't that long. So moving forward, I'm definitely gonna bear that in mind and try and think more how I can be either one, more efficient, or at least more critical, because there are some edits that I'm like, why did I do that? And it's important, I think, to always be improving. I think in my early days I was consistently, you know, always improving with my uploads because I kind of had to. Like, back then I literally thought my videos were really, really bad and I wanted to get as good as I could be. Now I'm kind of at a point where I'm as good as I need to be, but not as good as I want to be. But it's hard to differentiate the two. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I need to start competing with guys. I've been joking with Jack several times in the background saying race to 1,000 subs, but this is serious now. This is, for the third time I'm saying this is actually genuinely serious. If these videos don't get better, anyone who's watching this video this far, if my next 7 uploads, you know what, forget about that. When I start going back to weekly uploads, if they're not clearly better than these videos, I'm going to need you guys to at me and tell me, like, what are you playing at? This is complete BS. And with that said, I can hear the washing machine has stopped, so my washing is done. That means this video is done.